Hello, my babies. Welcome back to an all-new episode of MamMaJism. It is your girl, MamMaJ, aka MamMaJ. You already know the drill. So we're just going to go ahead and hop right into it. If you remember from last week, I was walking you through my this new challenge that I'm doing, which is, I don't think I said it last week, but it's a mindfulness and self-esteem exercise or challenge for the week. And so even though this is technically day 2, since I am obviously taking you with me on this journey and the episodes are weekly, this is going to be week 2. So hopefully last week you spent a good chunk of your time working on being more non-judgmental. And if you're unsure of what I'm talking about, then you probably didn't listen to my last episode. So go ahead and pause this and take a dive into that one so that you can be prepared for week 2. Week 2, we are going to be talking about non-striving. So as you can see here, we're doing a whole lot of nons. But this one is non-striving, and I'll get into more detail as to what that means a little later on. But we're just going to go ahead and get started with today's challenge. And so I'm going to start you off the way that they started me off, which is asking the question, how happy are you with the way that your life is going right now? And the scale is from I want more to I am 100% content with what's going on in my life right now. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. Okay, cool. So I know for me personally, I said somewhere in the middle, like I'm content with where I'm at, but also at the same time, I do want more. And which is a pretty common answer for most people. That is where we tend to fall, in the middle. But there are also cases where people, feel like they want more. They aren't satisfied with the way that things are going in this current moment, and so they're going to do everything that they can in their power to try and meet themselves at that more. It's easy for us to find things that we want to change or wish were different. For example, your employment, relationship status, or even your bank account. I know for me personally, I could always go for an increase, but it's just me. But the more we focus on what we want, the less time that we actually spend appreciating on the things that we already have. More times than not, the things that we wish for in the past are things that we actually have right now in this moment. And I think we have to start asking ourselves, have we taken that moment, aside from the moment that we got it, because of course we're always ecstatic when we first receive the things that we, manifest or wish for. Have you, since you first received it, have you given gratitude? Have you been grateful for what you now have? Or are you too busy focused on, okay, now that I have this, I need to start working on getting this, and this, there's never a time for you to stop and pause. Maybe you might need to kind of look into that and figure out ways where you can incorporate that gratefulness and mindfulness as you start to move forward onto the next venture or the next step that you want to attain. Just to kind of set the scene for you a little bit and give you a personal example of mine. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was to go to college, and so that's exactly what I did. A lot of people don't know this, but my first pick was SDSU. I had applied to a couple of other schools because it was free for me to apply, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna, lose out on this opportunity to apply to other schools. But I knew deep down in my core, if I didn't get accepted into SDSU, I'm going to community college. In that moment, surprisingly enough, I knew what I wanted, and I was like, I'm not settling. Well, I guess technically I would have been, whatever. But I knew what I wanted, and I knew that if I couldn't get it, I had a backup plan to help, increase my chances to get accepted as a transfer, whatever the case may be. So, obviously I graduated from San Diego State, so I had got in when I applied, and it's one of those things where now to this day, sometimes I forget that I'm a college grad. And sometimes if you talk to me, you might not realize that I'm a college grad. I read a lot of books. I like to think that I'm pretty smart, but I'm very book smart, street smart, lacking a lot. And so sometimes you might talk to me and you're like, I'm sorry, what school did you graduate from? But sometimes things just come to me in a weird way. Like, it might take me a moment to get it. Sometimes things go over my head, and then there are other things that, right there at the noggin, and I'm there, I get it, I'm straight. But like, something about, I don't know what it is, but I do have my moments when I'm super grateful for it, but I also have my moments where I'm super like, what the fuck was the point? Like, I mean, how things are now, it's not like when our parents were our age or our parents' parents were our age, where all you had to do was get a degree and you were set. You had a nice, long, happy career lined up for you, where you know that your bills are going to be paid and you're not going to have to live paycheck to paycheck. Well, the time that we're in now, I am still living paycheck to paycheck, trying to make shit shake, and on top of that, I have school debt. So it's like, who's really winning here? What is, like, now you need your master's or a PhD in order to get some sort of, like, I don't know. At least that's just how I see it. And so sometimes it's very easy to forget why I wanted to go to college in the first place and the benefits that I got out of college. It's not just, honestly, the degree is whatever. What I got from college was my experiences, the people that I met, all of the different organizations that I was a part of that helped make me become a more well-rounded person. And the classes that I took, some of them which were outside of my actual major, those classes were the ones that really made me, like my women's studies courses, my communication courses, all the classes that weren't necessarily part of the curriculum or my specific curriculum. Those are my absolute favorite ones, of course, because that's just how life works. But even learning sociology a little bit, I was like, this is some interesting stuff. I just want to become a professional student, honestly. If someone could just pay me to just keep going to school and learning, I would 1,000% do that. I miss going to school so much. But that's just a little example that I could think of anyway right off the bat, where it's okay, this is something that I wanted since I was a kid, going to college, living in the dorms, had the full experience as a college freshman. And sometimes I take it for granted because a lot of people aren't afforded that opportunity. And I am so thankful that I am. So I always make sure I take my moments to be grateful and appreciate it. And again, that's just my own personal example. I'm sure you can think of a few of your own. But moving forward back to the challenge itself, they offered an exercise to help combat these feelings of always wanting more, and that's trying a mindfulness meditation. So this meditation could be something as simple as taking 5 minutes out of your day and just being present in the moment, listening to the sounds around you or paying attention to your emotions and the thoughts that, kind of bring those emotions forward. That's kind of something that we talked about in the last podcast episode with being more non-judgmental. Sometimes we don't realize how our thoughts really affect the way that we think, not only about ourselves, but about the things around us. And so taking a mindful moment to really just take it all in and figure out the things around you, life around you, And this forces us to just stop looking at what's next and experience what's now. Operative word being now, in this present moment, not the future, not the past, strictly the now. Right now in this moment, I'm hot. Temperature, I'm hot. It's hot in this room. I can't turn the fan on because the noise it picks up on the mic. So in this moment, I am hot, and I know why I'm hot, and I understand that. I'm not upset about it. I just know that right now I'm a little uncomfortable because I'm hot. But pretty soon I'll turn the fan back on, so it's no worries. And so, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, what we're going to be focusing on this week is non-striving. So non-striving is stopping that elliptical in your mind that keeps popping out new and fresh ideas on how to get ahead. Now, this isn't me saying that, those ideas are bad. It's just that there's a time and a place for that mindset. And a lot of the times we have that elliptical running 24/7, which forces us to keep constantly feeling like we aren't reaching our goals. So when in reality, we haven't even taken a breath and soaked in the now. And so this mindful meditation as a practice or an exercise, it really helps to kind of pause that elliptical for just 5 minutes just 5 minutes out of your day, stopping that elliptical, stopping that thought process of, okay, now how can I get ahead this way? I already reached this goal. How can I do it next? Like just stop, pause, relax, breathe, and give yourself that time to just be mindful, to just be present, to be thankful, grateful, mindful, whatever it is. You could be having a really shitty day. You take that moment, you take it all in. Well, why am I feeling this way? What are the sounds around me? Are they louder as I get closer? Are they, like what is happening around me? And are my circumstances right now, is that what's making me feel this way? Is it internally? Is it externally? All of these things we can answer if we just take a moment and be mindful. And that's pretty much it. So with that being said, I challenge all of you to just give yourself 5 minutes of just stopping, breathing, and being mindful. You can find mindful meditations on YouTube for free. I have a couple in past podcasts as well. Even the coherent breathing exercises that we've been doing the past few weeks, just having that moment of like deep breathing. Once you kind of get used to, you can breathe however you want, but just use that time to like be present, be mindful, Okay, well, thank you for listening. I'm gonna go turn the fan on. Y'all have a good one, and yeah, bye. Thank you for listening. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and follow all the socials at MamMaJism. That's MamMaJism. If you decide you want to financially support me, on my accounts you'll be able to find out how. Thanks in advance. Until we meet again, please be kind to one another. And from the bottom of my heart, I love you.